Welcome to everybody. My name is Giusy Bettoni, and I'm the CEO and founder of C.L.A.S Eco Platform, a platform that is striving to bring forward new sustainable values in the fashion and textile business. Responsible supply chains and smart innovation, together with communication, are key to us since 2007 when we started our work. And welcome today to Smart Voice Talk, very special, really honored today. My heart and my soul is really happy today, despite the fact that the situation is not one of the best, but these are the real pleasure. Smart Voices is the virtual program of talk, sharing ideas, knowledge, stories, and innovation, able to inspire and shake up, we hope, the fashion system with a responsible attitude. We started from the 20th April, and today we close the circle of these, ideas and what happened in the world in terms of sustainability. It's something that we did on purpose for Earth Day celebration and, Fashion Revolution Week, that we dedicate to go live with Smart Voices, bringing together innovators, game changers, thinkers, artists, and institutional bodies, company, and even athletes. So really, really happy today to be here, and would like to start introducing Evie Evangelou, the CEO and founder of F4D Development. Evie, really happy and pleased to have you here. I know that you're really busy. I know the amazing thing that you do and your team is doing as F4D Development. Evie, such a pleasure, wonderful, great, and thanks. Thanks so much because, you're such a wise and you're such a thinker, and, you are, guiding, these movement, these people, these, things that for us at C.L.A.S, it's really in our heart and our soul. So I know you're very busy. You're just coming out from, these sessions that for today during, 20 and 21st of April has been really successful. So thanks to be here, first of all, and welcome to the Smart Voices of C.L.A.S.
Hi. Thank you for having me, Giusy. I'm very happy to be with you today, and I'm so glad that we're working together on a few things that I hope will be very helpful to everyone.
That is what we're really looking for. And, tell us, Evie, in a few words, what is F4D Development and what type of projects do you manage related to the fashion industry? Can you share with us?
Sure. Well, F4D Development started over 10 years ago in cooperation with the Office of the UN Secretary General. And the main focus is basically to support all of the UN goals. When we started, it was the UN Millennium Development Goals. We were working closely with Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. And then it became the Sustainable Development Goals. So basically, many of the goals pertain to climate, poverty, human rights, women's empowerment, all which I think deal within the fashion industry. And what we try to do is use the Sustainable Development Goals as a framework to work from there and implement what techniques and possibilities and research we can use to help these goals come to fruition within the fashion industry, whether it be human rights, whether it be supply chain, whether it be new innovations and technologies, but basically making the fashion industry a more sustainable practice than what it has been in the past, because it definitely needs to make those changes.
When I hear implementation and come to practice, for me, it's really important because, as you know, in these, areas, sometimes there are a lot of, words and not such a lot of implementation of things. And this is something that in F4D Development, it's something that we are completely aligned. So going to your agenda, F4D Development agenda, we know it's quite extensive. How do you tackle all these goals in this new in this new world that it's not such in the conventional order after COVID-19? Where do you see the industries and consumer behavior changes after this pandemic?
Well, luckily, we've been blessed with having a lot of amazing partners around the globe. So this is where we have been the last few weeks while this is going on, in a lot of conversations on where we're going. Even before the pandemic, my whole vision, I believe at this point, is in order to make substantial change, we must make policy change. We must work hand in hand, industry with government. And because of our amazing relationships that we have with governments around the world and through the UN, we are working now on creating conversation amongst those two groups to come together and find better ways if we're going to reach the goals and if we're going to move in a way that really will be impactful in the end. Because it's not a case where, I mean, I know a lot of people are trying to do things, but many times they're not enough. So we have to figure out, because we are at a critical point and we don't have that much time to change the whole system. So we need to take measures that are a little bit more serious and impactful between government and industry. And that's the direction that I'm taking right now.
That is so valuable, because we know it's needed. You know, we can do many things, but we need also the policy. But in your mind, Evie, what about how do you think the consumer is feeling at the moment, and how to engage, you know, with them, you know, in this moment? Because a lot of people is talking, let's deprioritize sustainability, let's put in, you know, center even more to accelerate more. What's your view?
I believe that what's happening is definitely a message that we need to embrace the goals and sustainability at an even stronger point now than ever before. This is basically a sign, and it's basically a warning. What will happen? I mean, this little tiny virus has brought the entire world to its knees. What's going to happen if bigger things, what's coming climatically, environmentally, lack of water, climate refugees? I mean, it's been growing and growing intensely in the past few years, but we've now reached a critical point where the entire world has shut down. And I think it's giving us that time also to talk, to have these conversations, to review in our minds what have we been doing, what we need to do, and how we need to take it on as things begin to open up in a more impactful way, to create the social impact within humanity that we need to. We need more compassion, we need more empathy, we need understanding, we need less greed. We need to come together as human beings and say, we are going to tackle this, and the earth will renew and live on, and so will the people on it. And it also has shown us a great deal that we're all the same, which I've worked on dialogue among civilizations, diversity is beautiful, many campaigns within the UN. We are all the same. We all cry the same. We all laugh the same. You know, we all eat the same. You know, just because we have certain cultural differences, we need to understand the beauty of those differences and accept them and work together as one. You know, no more of this competition. There is no time for competition anymore. The time has come when we have to partner. We have to work together.
Absolutely. And this is a key message in this moment, because we know that also with the COVID-19, we can come out in a good way only if we coordinate all together, because it is not possible to stop the infection in one country if someone else is going on. So if we start to think in a different way and, you know, in this united one, I think it's really important. So thank you very much, Evie. Would you like to add something, maybe something that is priority in your mind at the moment and you want to share with people that is, you know, with us today before we go into some activities with Jeanine?
Well, I did want to say that I was very pleased to see all these doctors, the healthcare, the essential workers, everyone coming together. And, you know, in a way, it made you realize that that does exist. So it gave me hope that within our souls and our hearts, we will be able to tackle this, and we will be able to come out of it, and we will be able to make the world a better place. So let's give that inspiration, because I do believe that that is what's to come.
Absolutely. Thank you for really excellent words. And I'm using the words of people that is following us that said really excellent. And I agree totally, because if we can start from the understanding, and we can start thanking, you know, that we have such great people, great work, but we need to have a little bit more respect. So thanks so much, Evie.
Thank you, Giusy. Thank you for having me.
And keep in touch, because we have many things to deliver in the next future.
For sure, absolutely.
And we will invite you more, because it's so important, not just, you know, to make things, but to share things to inspire people and to show that it's possible, and it's possible in a great way. So thanks again, Evie.
Thank you. Thank you.
A kiss. Ciao. Jeanine, are you there?
Hi.
Jeanine, hi. I'm anxious today because I knew you were there. So welcome, first of all, Jeanine. So Jeanine Ballone.
Hi, Giusy. How are you today?
Fine. You know, I know that someone is looking also at my...
I know, my God, Giusy, God bless you after all this, that you,
it's crazy,
that you have everything. Well, you're lucky nothing else is worse.
Exactly. You know, I chose the time. I was completely at home to fall down and broke my rib. But not, you know, my voice and my brain are going on. So.
Yeah, we know that we can't turn that off, Giusy, but that's good. Well, I'm really happy to follow Evie, who was absolutely inspiring for us as a leader of Fashion for Development. And, you know, I happen to be very, very lucky girl to be working with so many wonderful people over the last, 2 years. And, we have so many great things going on these days. I mean, you know, we're having challenges, but out of that comes opportunities, right, Giusy? So that's the way we have to look at it.
Yeah, no challenges, no passion, no taste, you know, to try to find solution. That's, I think, we are about. And Gianine Ballone, you know, Managing Director of Fashion for Development Solution. Maybe, Jeanine, can you just share with us what is Fashion for Development Solution? You know, it's...
okay. Yeah, well, so I think, you know, Evie was just telling you a little bit about the entire platform of what Fashion for Development does. And Evie and I have been working for almost over 8 years together when I was still in full-time corporate life. And we really decided that we wanted to focus on execution of solutions in the supply chain. You know, there's a lot of talk, a lot of writing ideas and good concepts, and some of the work that she's been really focusing in on really needed some technical support and ideation behind it. And what we've been really looking at is how to take executionable ideas from the innovation supply chain and really put them into a scalable force to help to change or motivate the current suppliers and brands to doing things a little bit better. And it takes across the value chain. So it's not just an environmental portion, but of course, as Evie said, it's about human rights, it's about water, it's about access to things, it's about living wages. So, you know, when we talk about one part, it really runs the gamut of the full value chain, and everything and anything that we build or deliver to the consumer.
Absolutely. And as you know, this is music to me, because we are about responsible supply chain. We are talking about ethic. We are talking about technical background as well, because we cannot deliver things that are not working at the same time.
Right.
But what, we have been doing part of our journey, since last September together. We have projects running together. But,
yes.
Before going into something like that, what is your view about how we can continue to communicating to do things in a moment where it looks like the priority is going to another place, even if it's not really like that. But would like to hear from you.
Well, you and I have been working together very closely. Even when I was working, in the larger corporations and trying to buy and work with some of the fabrications that you were putting together. Both of us, it's our passion. It's what gets us up every day to do, and we have to be inspired by these new ways of doing things. I would say two things. One is that we have to reset the entire process. And we know that it's not just going to be because the brands want to do it. And as Evie mentioned, one of the projects and ideas that we're having is obviously through policy. Policy needs to set the agenda forward for this divisions of product, meaning anything that has to be related to textiles or things that we put on our bodies or how we source, the shoes that we wear. We have to do it in a better way. And we realize that now that, unfortunately, a lot of companies will not be surviving through this crisis. We will come out looking at a very, very different fashion industry than we went in. And it was, at that point, it was still on the brink. But I think now that we have to reset our value system, we can't not go back to the norms of this. And I think that the way that some of the larger companies have been producing globally is going to have to change. You see the structure, you cannot buy cotton from India, ship it to China, spin it there, send it back to Europe or America. And, it's just in piecemeal and things will have to get smaller and tighter for not only for the environment footprint, but for the need of inventory, better quality. I think what the consumers are really switching to, which is they want to understand where their goods are coming from and what they want to expect in their goods. So I think we're going to look at that.
I think we are looking at these fully understanding of the consumer in this moment about what globalization means, just the mask, the supplier, the supply chain of the mask has realized that it's not just things that you assume, someone was doing. So, and these open up the doors also to the fact that we have anyway, since quite time, very good and excellent case histories of supply chain.
Absolutely.
And the challenge is also how to share this know-how, how to take these things around the world, how to,
Right. So the big brands shouldn't be the only ones allowed to have new innovations and new ideas. So as we have been talking and what we're building together, which I think really super exciting to announce, is kind of the democratization of information, allowing people to have this information that we work and we see every day and, giving people this access, as free press, as it should not be hidden and allowed only for a few.
Absolutely.
It needs to be given out. And I think what the work that we're really doing now that we're going to be coming up to releasing is a super exciting way for the future of direct-to-consumer brands, the future of creativity coming out of this. What are the new brands going to be? What are they going to stand for? What are they going to mean? And if we could help them do it the right way from the beginning and show them that they should be inspired by new ideas and innovation and practices and best way forward, then that's what we should need to do. We cannot go back to allowing them to produce like H&M or Zara's. We need them to understand that the future of the world and the future of their generations is to do this responsibly.
Absolutely. And this goes also to the new business model. This is something that is happening quite strongly. We can see that, the vintage market, second-hand market that is becoming more volume sometimes than the fast fashion, for example.
That's
giving
correct.
a clear sign that the consumer wants to go in a certain way. Even after C.L.A.S, we never sold anything, and we start 1 year and a half ago to take the most technologically and responsibly advanced material to offer to people that just need from 1 to 50 meters, because we need to start educating the new generation that thinks already in circular together with responsible, to be able to manage the materials, because without knowing the materials, very difficult also to change things. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And I know that one of the key targets of Fashion for Development is education, and it's where we start.
Yes,
you know?
that's where we both started, and both how we wanna continue. Because without information, power is information, and the more powerful we can make brands and educate young creative designers by giving them our knowledge of understanding how they can do a better supply chain, and the technologies that are out there and available to them, I think we can unlock and unleash some major creativity and opportunity, like that we've never seen before. So, both you and I are super excited about how we can educate the future, how we can take this and move it forward. It is the only way forward. I believe that if they don't change, we'll very much see a different consumer-driven concept. Who wants to wear a brand that they should feel ashamed of? So, we want to educate more. We can't stop educating.
And I think we can say that we can do it also from now, because, despite the fact that, it's not easy, to coordinate and to do things, because for sure everything, we are working 3 times more at the moment, but for sure everything is going quite a little bit slowly. But, we started with this fantastic project in New York about circular economy.
Yes.
And now I'm really pleased that I let you the word to announce, something that will be going into this direction. It's born in a way, but now it could be great at this time.
Yeah, I think both of us realize that, globally our reach and globally our opportunities and the way we're educating on a different level, but, with common interests and common denominators of how to move the business forward, that, for us not to push forward with all the good ideas that we have and all the things that come to us, right? We all know how to, it's different just to pick up a few fabrics and say you're environmental or you're sustainable, but it's much more to re-engineer your supply chain and redo how you're sourcing, and take all that transparency and traceability. We know that one can't exist without the other, and that you should know everything that you're putting into your products and where they came from in every tier and every level, and you should have ownership, and the consumer should be aware of that. So I think that the exciting opportunities that we're going to be educating the future, the things that we're going to be releasing at the time over the next few months, I think are going to be things that everyone should be looking, on our websites and understanding when the release date, because I believe that what we're going to release is going to be groundbreaking information on the future of fashion, how to reclothe yourself, reset.
Absolutely, yes. Reclothe, I love it. And, I like this kind of conversation also because some of the attendees today are people that is doing this, smart innovation. Smart, that means something beautiful, something innovative, and also responsible at the same time. So the latest boundaries of technology are going into this direction, and they're ready. They love when someone is asking them how you do things, how you prepare things, and where these things are going to go after the end of life. What is an end of life? But sometimes we have this kind of question directly from the consumer. It's a little bit more difficult at trade level.
Yes, but like I said, we both agree that there's different levels of education, right? And that's the hard part right now is changing the older value system, not the younger value system, because they know better. I do believe that. I think in our generation is really the old ways of changing things, and smart innovation, responsible supply chains, caring about your fellow citizens, just like we went through now, understanding that people with reflect to us shutting down the apparel system. You've seen the ads from Fashion Revolution, good on you, Libya First, EcoAge. Everyone is talking about it, and that is, we're really affecting everybody, not just the fact that we shut down the brand, but from kids starving in Bangladesh, you know, to factories sitting empty around the world, to all the unused materials that will go to waste. You know, how do we restart this and reset the caliber of the future of this by doing it in a much more innovative and responsible way? And we have to remember that we have far-reaching consequences on everything that we do.
Absolutely. So building on that, I think we are really in the center of accelerating our journey toward sustainability, where sustainability to us is not just a word, it's not just an abuse word, but it's really the way we need to be as human beings, because never forget that sustainability is human-centric, first of all.
That's correct. Yes, absolutely, Giusy. Absolutely. And so I think what we need to do is just get in, you know, as we are very much inspired, and you know, I guess this is really the first time that we've been able to get together to really talk about the work that we're going to be launching. I'm super excited. I hope that, you know, we get to travel and we get to explain it to the United Nations teams in September. I believe that, you know, we should, you know, as best we can, and me in America, you in Europe, that we could really start to, you know, get people engaged with us as well, to help to really start sharing the work that we've been spending months getting together. And we would like to say, if any innovators, by the way, are on this, please reach out to Giusy or myself. We are gathering the best and the brightest of the future. And we will be showcasing it to everyone who wants to be the change of this industry going forward. So I think that's a super exciting opportunity.
So game changers, you know, try to activate the change. That's what we are looking at today, you know, and every day of our life, basically.
Right.
And we'll be in touch soon with this recloth, because it's going to happen quite soon. But in the meantime, you know, we will be very happy to talk, to, you know, be in contact with people. I've seen a lot of messages going on saying, you know, it's important to give this kind of information to consumer, and we are aware, because the conversation at the moment is more striving toward the trade, but it's the consumer that is looking for these values, and we know from market research, and maybe this time is going to accelerate this process. So
I think so. Let's hope.
Jeanine, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Giusy.
Thanks to Evie, you know, from the bottom of my heart, because it's so good when you can, you know, during a period like this, to have something active back to, you know, back to the work. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody that has been with us, and keep in touch, because Smart Voice is going to come back soon. Ciao.
Thanks. Ciao, Giusy. Bye-bye.
Ciao, grazie.